back with another review, and today talking about and reviewing 28 Days with Sandra Bullock. And I would say decent flick. I mean, I know it makes it seem like by the poster, it's an upbeat romantic comedy, but that's not the case here. This is more of, I would say, a drama with some touches of light humor. So the poster is a little misleading, but the story here, you have Sandra Bullock, her character in the film, is a partier, an alcoholic, and one day she crashes her sister's wedding, who is played by Elizabeth Perkins, and from there, Sandra Bullock, her character, goes into rehab, and she has to make it for 28 days, or she goes to jail. So when she first gets there to the program, she sees these characters, like one of them is Renee Santoni, from Cobra. You also have Mike O'Malley in there from Yes Dear. And these people in rehab are doing, chants and rituals. And at first, she doesn't feel welcome, but as the film goes along, she warms up to these characters. And that's the story pretty much. And like I said, 28 Days is a decent flick. I mean, compared to other Sandra Bullock films, I mean, if you were to ask, of course, I prefer, Demolition Man way more, Speed way more, even The Net more, which is an underrated flick. Gravity is a great movie, and I prefer that more. But this is still not a bad movie, even though, like I said, the poster, makes it seem like it's one thing, but it's different. And that's what I thought at first. Okay, I'm like, okay, this is going to be a rom-com, but again, it's more of a drama with, some moments of light humor. But I still, I do like the movie. Now, talking about the cast, again, you got Sandra Bullock, who I love Sandra Bullock. And she's solid in the film. She actually gives a solid performance, dramatic-wise, that, at times, you feel bad for her character because she's dealing with this problem that, at the same time, though, she's not a responsible person. But throughout the film, you can tell that she's trying to better herself and improve her life and, get off the alcohol, get off the drugs. And, like I said, Sandra Bullock is really solid here. She really, out of the cast, which is interesting because you have like Viggo Mortensen in here and Steve Buscemi. Sandra Bullock, you can say, really holds the film together. That she outshines everybody else, and again, she's solid in this movie. If I can get the words out right, but yeah, like I said, Sandra Bullock is solid here. You also have Viggo Mortensen. He's a supporting character in the film where there's this one scene where Sandra Bullock is trying to escape rehab and she falls out the window. And Viggo Mortensen picks her up and takes her back in. And at the same time, he's checking in to rehab. And for a little bit there in the film, they kind of, develop this relationship that they're seeing each other. But by the end, it doesn't really matter because, Viggo Mortensen's character falls for another person, another, woman in rehab. So again, it's kind of one of those things that, Viggo Mortensen, I like Viggo Mortensen, but the whole relationship between him and Sandra Bullock, again, it just kind of goes nowhere, by the end. So in a way, you can say Viggo Mortensen's kind of wasted here. You also have Steve Buscemi as one of the counselors, and, it's good to see him in the film. Even though he's not given a whole lot to do. But again, I like Steve Buscemi. And he's this counselor character. Among the group of people in rehab, again, you have Renee Santoni, from Cobra, Poppy from Seinfeld. You also have Mike O'Malley from Yes Dear. And also Guts, for people who remember that show my age, back in the day, Guts. He's in the program. And there's some other characters in there, like Alan Tudyk. I believe that's his name. An actor that you've seen before. He's good in the film. I mean, he's fine. So, I mean, overall, the cast is fine. I would say, to me, the strong point is Sandra Bullock because she gives a, solid performance. Um, she definitely shines here, dramatic-wise, even though I would say, Gravity, I felt that she did better in because, I love Gravity, and I thought dramatic-wise, that's a better movie, and she's better in that, but she's still not bad here. And directed by Betty Thomas. This is the same director that did the Brady Bunch movie, but would also do Private Parts with Howard Stern. And I actually prefer that more, but, Betty Thomas, did a decent job here directing. Again, it's nothing, the direction is nothing spectacular, which is why I say this is a decent flick. Because, when you look at Sandra Bullock's career, I mean, and you look at this film, while I still say it's decent, it's a solid movie, it doesn't really mean much in the grand scheme of things. Because, I look at Demolition Man, Speed, The Net, Gravity, there's other films I'd rather watch more with Sandra Bullock. But it's just one of these films that not a lot of people talk about. Some people out there feel that the film comes off preachy because it's more of a serious film, that it deals with, rehab, and again, it's more of a drama. There's some touches of humor in the film, but there's not too many of those moments. Again, it's more of a drama where Sandra Bullock is trying to improve her life and get better. And you also have, and I forgot to mention, the Dominic West character, who's her boyfriend outside of rehab. I didn't really care too much about their relationship in the film. So that's one thing I didn't really care for. It's like, you think they're going to go, like the Viggo Mortensen thing. They play it in the film like, okay, this is going to go somewhere, but ultimately it doesn't. Because Viggo Mortensen falls for another girl at rehab. So by the end, it doesn't matter. So, again, Viggo Mortensen, great actor, but he's kind of wasted in this movie. And Dominic West, I didn't really care for their relationship in the film. I'm like, which I'm glad by the end, Sandra Bullock, dumped that dude. And I'm like, okay, this guy is just bad news. And, fuck that guy. But, so again, the strong point of the film, I would say, is Sandra Bullock. She really holds the film together with her acting, her performance. But again, going back to the direction here, it's nothing spectacular, coming from the director of Private Parts, which I prefer more as a movie. I haven't seen the Brady Bunch movie. But, direction here is still okay, decent, fair. I mean, the tones in the film, the concept, story, if you will, I thought was fine. I mean, again, it's a drama, but there's not too much comedy in here. It's more of a how would you describe this movie? It's pretty much a rehab movie. I'm just trying to think of other words I can use to describe, but I mean, I wasn't bothered by the pacing. The side characters, the supporting characters, they're there. It's cool to see Rainey Santoni in the film and Mike O'Malley, but it's just kind of typical characters. Nothing too. I mean, the supporting cast is nothing too great. When talking about the people in the program, as far as like score or soundtrack or music, there's not a whole lot of memorable music in the film or score. Again, you don't really care for the relationships all that much. or the film trying to, again, the stuff with Viggo Mortensen. Now I'm just trying to think of other stuff to mention. I mean, you have these scenes in the film where this girl, her and Sandra Bullock become friends, but there's a sad scene in the film where the girl dies of an overdose. So you do get a couple of those moments, kind of, if people say sappy, maybe I can understand, because, again, this is a film that not a lot of people talk about, and when you think of Sandra Bullock, you're not going to think of other films before this film. Hell, people will talk more about Practical Magic or other films Sandra Bullock has done, but no one really talks about this film. I mean, it gets a decent rating on IMDb, like a 6.1. So, again, getting a 6.1 on IMDb, people apparently like the film, but I understand too that there's some people out there, they feel, the film is kind of preachy. But it didn't bother me too much because I like Sandra Bullock. As far as the DVD itself, I mean, you do have, some features up here like audio commentary from director, editor, composer, and producer, a making of special, and some other stuff. So, at the end of the day, 28 Days, again, it's a decent flick. It's not going to be a standout in Sandra Bullock's filmography, but I still give props to Sandra Bullock in the film. She definitely is the best, like, the strong part of the film. She holds the film together with her performance. Even though you could say, the supporting characters are typical, because they're in this program, and, there's some moments where, they're yelling at each other and doing these chants and rituals. I'm like, okay, there's Renee Santoni, there's Mike O'Malley, but you don't really care for the Viggo Mortensen relationship, and it just, again, by the end, it goes nowhere. I mean, the ending is pretty much Sandra Bullock leaves the Dominic West character, which, okay, that's a good part. So it's a film about finding yourself, and again, even though the poster makes it seem like it's something more upbeat, so it's it's misleading on that front, but I would say overall a decent movie, decent Sandra Bullock film that maybe deserves a little bit more viewing, but again, it's not going to be a standout among her filmography. So that's my review of 28 Days. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.